I'm Lisa, and I'm an aspiring author who doesn't know what she's doing, and this is my 2026 bullet journal setup. So here you can see I have a lovely Archer and Olive B5 notebook. Usually I do A5 notebook, so this is kind of a new size for me. You can see the gorgeous foiling and the nice envelope pocket in the back. As always, I do skip the This Book Belongs To section, and I go ahead and get started on my first page. Here, I'm just writing 2026, and eventually I'll go back through and add some stickers and drawings, but for now I'm just keeping it basic. On the next page, we're going to make the index. I try to keep these pretty simple as well, just the page number and title of the page. Usually I'll go back through and add alternating highlighter lines on the index so that way it's easier to see. I'll probably do that as I add more entries to the index. The next section is the Scrawl of Tomorrow. So this is actually a letter I write for myself at the end of 2025 for me to open at the end of 2026. I have one from last year, and I have my 5-year and 10-year goals, and I thought it was really neat, and I really like to see how I change and how my goals change. To house that letter, I do create just a little envelope with a scrap piece of paper, and you can see me here adding the adhesive and adding it to the page. On the next page, I'm actually bringing over 2 things from my yearly bullet journal. Last year I had 2, and this year I'm just condensing it into 1. And one of the main things that I used in my old one was a cleaning schedule. So here I break down my 4-week house cleaning schedule, and I'll go ahead and add which rooms I do in each week. And then I have my menstrual cycle just to track my period. I have the months at the top and then the days of the week on the left-hand side. And then when I do have my period, I'll mark it on that day and month. The next spread is my January spread. I switched to a different color. I'm starting with blue this year because my notebook is blue. As I go month to month, I will switch colors just because I do like when things are colorful. So for instance, February is going to be purple, March is going to be a dark pink, April is going to be a baby pink, May will be a red, and so on and so forth. I added a little calendar section just so I can see what that month looked like. And then I add important dates. So these are special dates that I need to keep in mind. Maybe it's somebody's birthday, some kind of holiday, or anything like that. The next section is goals. So these are my intentions or my goals for the month. I never actually use a ruler when I make my bullet journals just for me, and I thought I'd be fancy, and clearly I do not have skills using a ruler, so I actually end up just giving up on it shortly here. For reflections, this is how my month went, if there's any specific things I want to keep in mind, maybe any notes that are important to keep track of. For books read, this is going to have the title of the book, the author, and then my overall rating. I really like the idea of seeing how much I'm reading month to month in this view. The next section is days written. This is the way that I make sure that my writing goals are at the forefront of every single month or every single week. I did make a little bit of a hiccup here, but no worries. This is a bullet journal meant to keep me productive, and if it's not perfect, that's okay. And then the last thing here is my favorite moments. I actually love this one because sometimes you forget all of the cool things that you did or all of the impactful memories or moments that you had. And this is a great way to keep track of them and be able to walk back through your month to month. The next section is my habit tracker. It's exactly what it sounds like. I did add all of the habits that I'm looking to track, and I actually break them down into different categories. So you can see the first category is health. So that's things like drinking enough water, not eating out, exercising. And the next section is growth. So that includes things like learning and reading and writing as well. So here's another moment where I make sure that I'm checking in on my writing goals and objectives every single day. I also give myself a few easy wins so that way every day I feel like I've achieved something and I can feel good about the day. Like, for instance, initiative is any one chore that I do in the house, which could be putting away the dishes, doing the laundry, picking up the dog toys. Whatever small thing, I'll count it as a victory and add a heart in that box. The next spread is my mood and symptom tracker. I've been doing this for probably a year and a half now. And every single day I'll check in with what kind of symptoms I might be having and then what my overall mood was. I initially started this as part of my mental health journey, and it's actually been really, really impactful for me. I know it might seem like a lot, but it's been worth it. Also, sorry about the cut here. My camera stopped recording. And then the last spread is the first week of January, which it's condensed from the 1st to the 4th of January. And here I have a few things going on. So the first is I add a category and a percentage. So basically, whatever category I have, maybe it's my weekly tasks, goals, personal to-do items, I'll write them down in the category and I'll add hearts to what percentage of that category's tasks I've completed for the week. It's just a nice way for me to visually see how much I still need to get done. And then I have my important dates here again, this birthdays, appointments, things like that. And then you can see my to-do list. In the boxes, I'll put a check mark. In the longer rectangular box, I'll put my to-do item. And then I'll make this weekly page for every single week in January. And then starting February, I'll redo my month overview, my habit tracker, my mood and symptom tracker, and then my weekly spreads. And this is a walkthrough of my bullet journal spreads that I set up. Under my weekly goals, I do add writing as one of my goals. So the first time I write, I get to check it off. It's just another place in my bullet journal that I'm emphasizing my goals with writing. But that's my bullet journal. I really appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.